like motherhood in general.
Okay.
And I'm just worried about like my marriage and then like the relationship I'm gonna have with my daughter.
Okay.
Because it's just really hard.
Hate's a really heavy word. Tell me about that.
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna stop it, but I didn't want to like cut it off. But it's like I can tell it's not that she hates being a mom. It's like she just was not ready to do that. Like she thought. I could tell like when hate doesn't really mean hate. Like it's just like, for example, if I feel like people in my life aren't doing what I expect, and I say, oh my god, I hate that, or I hate you. I don't actually hate you. I just hate that we never had what we needed. Really, honestly, I just hate that it just has to be that way. Really. But yeah, like a mom is always gonna love her child. I feel like unconditionally, because it's a thing, a human thing. But you know, you're allowed to feel uncomfortable in something so honestly like life-changing and traumatizing, like from childbirth to actually raising a kid and like actually putting you aside for another human being from scratch. Like oh god. Like, and then they're so unpredictable for real, and then you just want your life to feel like, what's it called, not controlled and perfect, but like you don't want to feel out of control. And then they cry when they feel like it. They're hungry when they're hungry. They're tired when they're tired. You need to pay attention to their development constantly, and they're a sponge, and then you gotta say certain things around them, and you gotta do certain things, and you can't go certain places, and you gotta watch this, back that, and do that, and it's like, and then you gotta watch people around your kids, and then you gotta watch your kid, and then you gotta make sure people aren't weird. You gotta make sure the dad isn't weird, or you're not, and it's like, and then that, on top of maybe relationship problems, is like, give me the baby. It's like, be like, come here. We're going to Disneyland.
There's like nothing wrong with her. She slept well. She smiles all the time.
Whew.
I mean, it's just every day it's the same song and dance, and I really want to like it. I sit there and I see like how happy my husband is and how much he just loves it. And
It's very, also, I'm gonna be so honest, and I don't have kids. It's never gonna be the same for the dad as it is for the mom. Like, their feelings and stuff are valid when they're tired and when life is hard on them. It's hard on men differently than women, but the kid part, it's not the same when it comes to the woman and man. The woman has to carry the shit out of that shit for a long time, and that was probably like really like uncomfortable in their body, and then like they have to like give birth, and then like and continue taking care of themselves and raising this human. Like, that's why God makes the woman doing all that, because the empathy has to be big and large enough to be able to do that for another human from scratch. Like, and then I don't think they think about that, because like a lot of the time, like they see the woman struggling, or like they see women have periods, or they see women crying, and they're like, she's in pain. Usually women can handle pain. They usually talk about it a lot. It's like, anyway.
I just can't even bring myself to even just like it.
And then they think to themselves, oh, I don't like this. It just caused me so much pain. I thought it was gonna be so beautiful and like fun. It may not even be that they don't like kids or didn't want kids. They just feel like pain. For example, I tell myself I wanna do music, and then you get kind of close to learn some of that, and then you see what you have to do certain things, and blah 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 and blah blah blah, and you're like, oh, I wanted this, but I don't know anymore. You know, it could be anything, but who knows?
I don't know why. And I feel terrible because I know my husband deserves someone who wants to be there, and my daughter deserves someone who loves her. And I love my daughter, but not in the same way that my husband loves her.
Can I tell you, I don't know if I fully believe that.
Yeah, she loves her daughter just as much as her husband does. She just doesn't like what parenthood is making her feel like. It's probably, first of all, too much pressure. She wants to feel like a perfect mom, but she has all these other feelings that she likes to brush under the rug because she probably does that a lot in her daily life about everything. And or things that are uncomfortable because she was taught being a strong woman is more respectable than a woman that's crying all the time or in pain or just woe is me. And that's not really true. You need to feel your feelings and be a woman for real. Like, just be honest. But if you say I don't like having kids or I hate being a mom, it sounds so bad because it makes you sound like, why did you lay down and make kids? And it's like, okay, you're just apathetic to the point. My feelings are interchangeable, and I don't know.
Why do you think your daughter deserves a better mom than you?
I just don't feel like I'm good enough, man.
That's
I mean,
it.
like,
You're sick of feeling this way. Why don't you think you're good enough?
it's just so hard.
It's the worst. It's the worst. It's the worst. It makes you just want to curse Pinterest, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And all the mommy guilt blogs that are out there. People building accent walls with their kids and their little slings and making their sourdough bread. Like,
Right, them little Pinterest lunchbox videos and perfect vlog lives, and it just be like looking and appearing like everything works perfectly. Like they're all ready before 9 a.m. and just run smoothly, like, and then the kids are gone for 6 to 8 hours. Like,
do you think you're so bad at this?
boy.
I just see like how other people
I don't give a crap about other people. What about you?
I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I remember before I had my daughter. I just remember, just knowing I didn't want kids. I just knew like my limitations, and I just knew like because how I grew up it's just like rough. I mean, like, you know, it's not the perfect life, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. And I just remember just being like, I don't want to have a kid because I just don't want her to. I don't want her to be like me. I don't want her to, you know, grow up the same way as me. And I'm trying really hard to change the things that my family, how they raised me and stuff. And it's just been like really hard.
I know, because you're trying to make changes out of hatred.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to do things different because you hate the way you grew up.
Yeah. Like I think I have a video like this already, where it's like if you had your life a certain way and then you go out and try to make this picture of what you always wanted, sometimes you were so focused on what you wanted, and I'm talking like you focus so hard on what hurts you and stuff, you don't realize like even if you get what you want in life, it's based on the premise of what you didn't want. So you're gonna end up in a modern version of what you got out of. Like, for example, family life growing up was hard. There were so many cold people around me, emotionally distant, blah blah blah. You grow up and you get married and you have a kid and you tell yourself, I'm gonna make sure this house is super loving because it seems like nobody ever checked on me and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna do that and see what arises from that. And then that will turn into you may become overbearing So you're on another side of the problem, you know what I'm saying? Because you focused on, I didn't get this, so I'm gonna do it. Instead of, let me sit in the middle here. See, I went through this, so okay, I'm gonna heal this instead of go on tit for tat. Like when you have your relationship and your kids, you're not trying to give them what you wanted. You get to just really raise them and observe them and like love them and love yourself and all that jazz. Sometimes kids don't want what you wanted. They just want to live. I mean, you can have all the right intentions and all, but like, just understand the individual, the person, not this person that's a part of you, meaning they're you. Like, that's not true.
And that always feels like you're pulling a sled uphill on ice. It's like going to the gym and working out because you hate your body. You're trying to punish yourself for looking crappy. Versus, I'm gonna go to the gym because I'm worth an hour and I want to feel amazing.
Yeah, like he said, if you go to the gym because you hate your body, you're gonna go to the gym and fix the external, but you're gonna find something else to hate. And you're also in this mindset of like fixing something that's not broken. You should just learn to love, at least first. And then that way, if you do, let's say, go to the gym, change some things, it's not all like, I hate myself, I need to change. It's, I love myself, I'm working on myself.
One of those is going to end, and one of those is going to keep going for forever.
Yeah, I know. I mean, how do I just cope with it then?
You don't cope. You build something amazing.
How?
That's what I'm asking you. What do you want your home to look like? What do you want it to feel like? Let me say it that way.
Let's just say beauty can be whatever you want it to be, right? Pregnancy and childbirth and having kids and raising kids, that could be beautiful. Just like a struggle in life could be beautiful. Let's say that, like, your hair is not done to the nines. Like, it doesn't matter what your race or gender is. Your hair is just bedhead AF. And somebody could say that's beautiful, and somebody else could say that needs to be fixed. So you're allowed as a mom, right, to feel like this is not beautiful to me. I feel like this is just ugh. But you know deep down it really is, like, after the fact. Like, if you had a life full of struggle and then you reach a point where you could look back at it and say, oh gee, I learned so much from that, it was beautiful, you're still allowed to say, God, that was hard, or that was horrible. Yeah, it made me the person I am, but and it sucked to get here. Like, that doesn't make you a bad person. And feeling like you're not pinned to one emotion in life, like, or way of thinking, just because somebody else doesn't agree with you or wouldn't agree with you. Like,
You want to feel.
and then a lot of parents give their kids up for adoption for those reasons. They know they feel that way, and they love their child so much, and they know how love works for real. It's very forgiving and understanding and like enlightening, and your child if you really loved them and you genuinely feel like it's hard for you and you can't do it, you could put them in like foster care for a little bit, or talk to somebody about that and maybe get some advice before you decide to do that totally. Or just, there's some options. Like, you don't have to tough it up really for the rest of your life if you feel like I'm not ready like I thought, or I can't do this, or like, you know, there's open adoptions and stuff. You could see your child and be in their life, so you don't have to like struggle. You could find ways to release all this tension and like stress without feeling like a bad person, even if it's temporary. You don't have to have things be like permanent, but just be like honest.
Do you have a group of girlfriends, you put the kid and hand the kid to somebody else and you get away for a minute?
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. It's just really, I feel guilty if I do that.
Okay.
And again, like, you don't know who to trust with your kid. Like, really? As a mother or a new mom, you would probably be telling yourself, I should be the one taking care of my baby. Like, what else am I supposed to be doing? Even though I feel like horrible. Even though there's not much of me to take care of this baby.
You're dying right now.
Like,
Choose guilt over resentment. Because you're starting to resent your kid. You're starting to resent your husband. You're starting to resent your home. You're resenting your life.
and then you could live like that for the sake of, I did what I was supposed to. Or you could unplug right quick, do what you need to do to feel like yourself again, because that's the only way for everything to be okay, is for everyone individually to feel okay. Swear down. And if that's not the case, everything's never gonna be okay. And then when you unplug it, you do that, you come back, if you can, and boom. Excuse me. Or if you don't want to go back, you don't have to, but on the plane, they tell you to put your mask on first before the person next to you if there's a crash happening, because if the person next to you is maybe not paying attention, but you paying attention are reaching for this other person's mask, what if something happens to you before you could get to that other person? And none of y'all are saved. Like, or if you're in a relationship, I like to equate being in a bad relationship or like an uncomfortable relationship to like drunk drivers. You know, people are drunk in love sometimes for a minute, and everything's great for like a long time. That's two drunk people, right? They're like in love. Then there gets to a point where you know, maybe the relationship doesn't feel the same. So like somebody has to say something or do something, or like both of them have to change or work on things, but somebody has to call out something first. Obviously, that's just how it works. Like, so I would call that the designated driver. So if you're both drunk in love and you both kind of notice, or one of you notice that it's going a little left or out of the off track or out of the lane of where y'all was going, and one of you or both of you are aware, and you're both just continually drunk out of your mind, you're gonna crash. Like, somebody needs to either say something and fix it, or edit it, or just pay attention. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
Choose guilt.
Okay. That's fair.
Because I think underneath all life that has, I would say that you've created, but I don't think it was ever intentional. I think it just kept kind of happening.
Yeah.
And when you have a kid, everything gets super real because that kid wakes up at the same time no matter how late you stayed up. And that kid needs to eat no matter what. That kid, God, they don't stop pooping.
Yeah.
Right? And then you start having fantasies of remember when.
It's every day for me.
Right? Remember we had money? Remember we could just have sex all the time? Remember when we just went out?
Yeah, then that really highlights what your relationship really was. I feel like kids wake you up sometimes, unfortunately. Like if you have kids in a relationship, it sets in what you're doing, or like it brings to light what you either really want, what you really wanted, or what you really should do for you and or the kids. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I miss those days, man.
That's what she should have said when he asked, what do you want to like feel like when you come home? She was like, I want to feel like everything's okay. She didn't say, I miss when we were just kids, me and my man. She really just wanted to say, I don't want to have a kid in the house anymore. I mean,
it's okay to miss them. But the assumption here is that was somehow better than what you could choose to build right now.
So it's essentially changing your mindset then.
No, you gotta. I mean, yes, there will be some of that, but you can't just do that in a vacuum. You can't just sit on the couch and just be like, change mindset. Sucky thing is now awesome. And that's what.
yeah, a lot of people do that. They force themselves to put up with things because they think like life is, they grew up maybe in a hard life, so they set in stone that you put on a smile no matter what, and if a life that you chose or got tricked into or you feel stuck in is it. That's it.